Your self-concept is your actual order form to the universe about what you want to manifest. And right now, you may be actually ordering the wrong life. Here's how you can change it. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to my channel. I'm so excited for today's episode. We are going to talk about all things self-concept and how that can manifest your dream life. But before we do, if you could go ahead and subscribe to the channel and drop me a comment on your favorite thing from this video, I would greatly appreciate it because I want this information out to everyone, because I truly, truly do believe it would make not only everyone's life better, but the entire world a better place if we all knew the kind of magic that we harness in our life. All right, so what is your self-concept? Your self-concept is how you perceive yourself, your actual perception of yourself, your thoughts, feelings, beliefs, and your identity at its core. It's who you think you are as a person. That's all it is. When I describe your self-concept, I am talking about that as a whole. So what does self-concept have to do with manifestation? You don't manifest what you desire. You manifest who you are. That is why I always say you're not manifesting a physical item into your life. When you are trying to manifest a new job, you are not manifesting the new job. The new job already exists somewhere out in the ether. You are manifesting the version of you who already has that job. You are manifesting the self-concept of someone who already has that job, has that pay, has that success that they're looking for in the new job. When it comes to self-concept, a lot of people get bogged down because self-concept work can also borderline with shadow work, which I do like shadow work. I think it's important to understand what's going on in our subconscious mind, what our limiting beliefs are, and I teach on that. That's not something that I'm saying is not important, but when it comes to self-concept, it's not required that you do shadow work to upgrade your self-concept, your image of yourself. When it comes to self-concept and upgrading your identity, you will have to put in some sort of action or work to upgrade that identity. And when I say work or action, I do not mean hustle. I do not mean grind. I mean that you will have to be a person who implements something into their life to help upgrade that identity. A really popular way right now in the law of assumption community is robotic affirmations. All that is repeating an affirmation on loop. Another way is to say those kind of things or have a rampage doing mirror work, looking yourself in the eye and repeating the affirmations. You know, in this example, talking about wanting a new job, you can say, I'm the kind of person who gets what they want. People love to hire me. I got my dream job and I am excelling at it. Success won't leave me alone. I am a successful person. I am worthy of success. I am worthy of six figures. I am worthy of clients falling head over heels trying to work with me. Whatever that is, you can affirm that. You can do mirror work with it. You can even do EFT tapping, repeating those so that your nervous system is regulated while you are saying that. But you will have to take some sort of action to upgrade your beliefs, your values, and how you perceive that the world gets to work for you, whatever that looks like. Another easy way that is work for your self-concept is subliminals and rampages. You can listen to them on YouTube. You can create your own. If you haven't downloaded the money one that I have a money subliminal that will be in the comments. It's free. You can download that. You can listen to them while you are sleeping. That is a big one. I will preface, if you listen to subliminals while you sleep, the first few days, even up to the first week, you can have crazy dreams because your subconscious is going into overdrive working while you're sleeping. It's all good. Keep pushing through it. It will change for you. If you're someone who can't listen to subliminals while you sleep, you can do them while you're sending emails. You can do them while you're cleaning, while you're in the shower. It's not about actually being able to hear it with your conscious mind. It's bypassing your conscious and going to your subconscious. So if you can just do it for an hour or two a day throughout the day, that works as well. Another way to really dig in onto your self-concept, and that some people really enjoy doing and others don't, is shadow work. This is where you're really looking into where you have picked up the beliefs, where you've picked up some of the thoughts and ideas that you have about the way that the world works and what you are deserving and worthy of. I do think that this is kind of great work for anyone to do on any kind of healing journey. It's really looking at what happened when you were 10 years old that made you think that money was hard to come by. What happened, what belief and thought did you pick up when you were 8 about not being worthy of friends because you got into a fight with one of your kids in your class? What may have caused you to think that you weren't worthy of the kind of love, job, money, eh, you know, self love, confidence that you are desiring now in your life? I can make a whole separate video on shadow work if you want to go deeper in that, but there are, lots of ways to do shadow work. You can even do shadow work through working with ChatGPT, having it ask you limiting belief questions and answering them till you can kind of fine tune down where you're at, and then rewriting that story for yourself. I do think shadow work can be very, very intense for some people, and sometimes that even requires working with a therapist. So if that's you and you've had a lot of trauma, I would suggest that as well. With that being said, it's not required to manifest. You can reprogram your subconscious without identifying the issues that may have happened that have caused you to pick up on those beliefs. But like I said, I can go into a whole nother video if you're interested in shadow work, so let me know in the comments. All right, we've talked about some ways that you can work on your self-concept, but here's actually why your self-concept can make manifestation so much easier. And I use this analogy a lot with my coaching clients and people in my life that I talk to about self-concept. You can manifest without changing your self-concept. You definitely can. You can force your way into a manifestation. I have done it. The thing is, when you do it that way, the manifestations may not stick. It may kind of come in sideways, so it's not exactly what you want. It doesn't happen as quickly as you've seen other people manifest. And that's because you are manifesting a forced version of yourself to get what you want. You are not changing your beliefs and values and the way that the world gets to work for you. And instead, you are forcing yourself into this character that's temporary for yourself. And being a character is not the same as upgrading your self-concept. You are trying to force it, and you can make it happen. People do it all the time. That's exactly why you hear about individuals who hustle and burn out in a job and, trying to force a relationship to work and forcing themselves to be somebody, to like have friends that they thought that they wanted. It's because they haven't upgraded their self-concept to be that person truly at their core. So the example that I like to use is about this car that I had that has an oil leak. And the oil leak wasn't anything major. The car could still run. It could still get me from town, run my errands, do all of those things. But because the oil leak was so small, when the car would really heat up or I'd been driving for a long time, the oil pressure wouldn't be able to be sustained because it was losing oil. However, I could run the quick, I live out in the country. I could drive the 10 minutes into town, run my errands, drive home, and it'd be fine. But if I wanted to drive longer than 10 minutes, I would get an error code on my car telling me to shut it off. However, before I really knew what was going on with the oil leak, we could put oil in it. I could get an oil change done, and it might kind of fix the problem for just a little bit. However, after a while, the oil would leak down to a level low enough that, again, I would get this error issue. That is what it is like when you are forcing a manifestation, when you are embodying the individual who has what they want on a consistent basis, who can hold that level of success, that amount of love, that has the opportunities coming in, that can kind of go after what they want and get it with ease. When you are forcing yourself into it, it's like just topping off the oil, but not fixing the issue. It's like saying, okay, I am able to get this for this time being, AKA I can drive into town for 10 minutes, not have any issues, and make it happen. But when it comes time for me to drive the hour that I need to do for something, for an appointment, I'm going to get that error code that's popping up. It's the same thing when you are forcing the issue of manifesting something. You manifest it. When it comes time to manifest the next thing, you are going to have to force it again. You will not be able to be the individual who can almost on demand manifest what you want, because that's not who you are at your core. It's not your identity. What self-concept work is actually fixing the leak in the car. It's actually fixing the oil leak so that it is no longer a problem that you have. It is no longer an error code popping up on your dashboard to tell you that the oil pressure is off, that you need to turn the car off. That is what identity work is. That is what upgrading your self-concept is. It's, yes, I can manifest, but I am also going to be able to manifest into the future. And when something comes up that you want, so you get the job that you force yourself into for the 80K salary, but after 6 months you're ready for 100K, you are going to have to force and push and kind of scream and fight till you get your manifestation. And you can do that because the universe responds to what you want. However, if what you want is at an energetic level, who you are, the universe copy and paste that on repeat every time you are ready to manifest something new, and you don't have to force it because that is who you are. It is now part of your self-concept. It is now a part of your identity, and the universe gives you who you are being, who you are portraying out into the world. You're not a character. It is actually who you are to your core, and that is why self-concept work matters. So while yes, self-concept upgrades take work, it takes you being the person, it takes you doing the work, the affirmations, the mirror work, the shadow work, whatever it is, it does take you putting in some sort of effort to shift your identity. It does not always have to be hard. It does not mean that you have to struggle or that it takes a long time. Generally, when I start some sort of self-concept work, some sort of identity upgrade that I am wanting to, I start seeing shifts within 48 to 72 hours. And I usually always have my manifestation within 10 to 14 days. 2 weeks is kind of my comfortability with something that's a big manifestation. When it's a small manifestation, I can get it same day within 24 hours. With that being said, a full identity upgrade will settle in and make manifestation consistent. It will make it easy. It will make it flow for you. So when you hear the manifestation coaches, the people on TikTok, the people on Instagram telling you this, that's the truth. It's not because they think you have to fight and claw and do all of this horribly hard work, but it is because it works. It makes things easier. You upgrade now because everything that follows that self-concept upgrade, that manifestation, you don't have to do the work then. It is who you are. It has become a part of you. When I upgraded my identity to be somebody that everything always works out for, I don't have to do the subliminals and the shadow work and the affirmations to myself to be the girl that everything works out for, because it's part of my identity. So when something pops up, like for example, the example I gave in my last video about the insurance that we had for our space and what we had going on, I knew everything always works out for me and that I always get what I want. So I was able to settle into that identity without doing the self-concept work again because I had already done it previously. I am that person now. So it is part of who I am. So when something pops up that I think could be a limiting belief or a barrier to what I want, I am able to settle back into who I am as an individual. My self-concept is of someone who everything always works out for, because everything always works out for me. That is why self-concept work makes manifestation easier. Yes, in the moment, it might feel like it takes a little bit more work, but then it makes the next manifestation that you go after, the next identity upgrade, that much easier because you're embodied. You are that person. You have become the individual who has what they want and gets what they want, whatever that manifestation may be for you. Self-concept works for money, love, success, confidence, friendships, business, whatever that is, it works for it. And that's why I will preach self-concept and identity upgrades till I am blue in the face, because it works. I know it works. And I want you to understand putting in just a tiny bit of effort with the subliminals, the rampages, the mirror work, whatever it is right now makes everything else easier for you. And who doesn't want manifestation to be easier? I know I do. All right, that's all I have for you in this video. If you have questions about self-concept, let me know in the comments. But in the meantime, go ahead, like, subscribe, and share this with a friend who needs it. And until next time, happy manifesting.